everybody. This past Sunday I played in a Dice Masters tournament at my local game store. It was a 4-round constructed Swiss tournament, best of 1, which is kind of different because usually Swiss tournaments are like best of 3, so you can break ties, but it worked out. They run it once a month, and last month I won it with a Hulk control team that I really like to play, so this month I tried to do something a little different. I ran a combo team. That's not really tier 1, it's kind of lower than that, but I wanted to see how it would do anyway. Thought it would be fun. It's an OTK team. So why don't I show you that team first, then we can hop into each game. You can see how it goes.
Alright, so here's the team that I ran for the tournament. The big combo here is Wolverine, formerly a weapon 10, paired with Nick Fury patch, and combining that with Infiltrate, the basic action at the top there. If you give Infiltrate to Wolverine, and make him an Avengers character, then his damage goes in double. If he's attacking alone, he gets the +4/+4 from his ability, and then if you sacrifice Silver Sable during your main step, you make him unblockable. Meaning that on his lowest level, he can deal 9 times 2 is 18 damage, or any of his other 2 levels are an OTK, or a one-turn kill. So that was what I was shooting for. All the other cards I put in to kind of build around the Nick Fury patch Avengers combo. So at the top, I also included Big Entrance because Big Entrance is freaking amazing. We also have Black Widow Stinger as another 2-cost Avengers character. Nice thing about her is she has this really interesting aftershock effect. I could have put in Black Widow Serena, but I ran her for my last tournament and I kind of wanted to mix things up. Professor X because of the global, duh. Red Dragon because of the global to buy Big Entrance and Infiltrate. And the last spot I have here is Hulk, Green Goliath. I put him in at the very last second. I switched him out for something else. I switched him out for Prismatic Spray, and I actually ended up regretting it because I didn't bring a trigger for him to get triggered off of. So I didn't switch out any of those actions for Magic Missile. So I ended up regretting bringing Hulk, Green Goliath, which you will find out soon. So that's the team that I ran. Let's go ahead and jump into Game 1 and see how I executed. Alright, so here is Game 1. I get to go first, so I roll first, and I end up with a fist, a bolt, 2 shields. That doesn't do me too much good. I'd like to have some masks so that I can Professor X Global, so I'm going to re-roll the 2 shields, and I'm going to end up with a mask and a question mark, so that is perfect, because now I can Red Dragon Global and buy a Big Entrance for 1, which is what I'm going to do. So there I pay the bolt, and here I go ahead and pay this fist so that I can pop that Big Entrance into my bag. At that point I end my turn, and then it's Steven's turn. And this is Steven that I'm playing in round 1, who I've played a lot before, and he's playing a really cool team, a team that I've played against him, or that he runs really often. And this team that he's running centers around Doctor Strange. You buy Doctor Strange, and this is the Doctor Strange from the AVX, which states that if you play an action die, deal your opponent 2 damage. So I know his strategy is going to be to buy up those magic missiles because I've played this team a lot. So I'm going to try this turn to buy several of those magic missiles to try and keep that damage from coming at my face too soon. So I end up with a really good first roll. End up with a fist, a couple of bolts, question mark, and 3 masks. So that's more than enough Professor X Global energy. So I'm going to Red Dragon Global on my side and pay a fist to buy one of those magic missiles. Then I'm going to do it again because he brought Red Dragon as well. And I'm going to buy that other one. That ends up, it leaves me with 3 energy, 2 masks, and a question mark. So I pass priority to him, so that gives him an opportunity to Professor X Global himself. And I'm going to end my turn by moving my dice out of spent into used. He ends up rolling, re-rolling. He ends up with 4 bolts, 2 questions, and a fist. And so he is going to ponder what to do. And eventually he's going to spend all of that 6 right there. And he's going to buy Doctor Strange. So he spends all 6, pops in a Doctor Strange. Now, sometimes when we play against each other, he will buy a polymorph first,
wait for that polymorph to go off and then buy Doctor Strange to just straight polymorph him in. This time he decided not to do that. So after he makes his move, I'm going to Professor X Global 3 times, moving 6 dice over. Pass it back to him, and he ends his turn. So I'm going to draw 4 from the bag. There's only 1 in the bag, so I have to refill. Draw 3 more. I end up drawing both magic missiles. End up rolling both magic missiles. And I ended up rolling the big entrance. So I have a lot of energy, and I have a way to deal him some early damage. It'd be nice to have one of those come up as a 2 energy face. So I think about it for a little while, and I eventually decide to just re-roll one of those, and hoping that it's going to come up, but it doesn't come up as 2 energy. So I just deal him 4 damage. I brought Red Dragon, but I did not bring Blue Eyes. I think he brought Blue Eyes. So I'm going to put a sidekick out on the field. I'm going to think about what I want to buy, and I'm actually, because I have big entrance and because I used big entrance, I'm going to pick up one of the Ant-Man dice and one of the Black Widow dice. Leaves me with 2 bolts, 2 masks, which are really question marks. End my turn. I have 2 bolts that I can play around with if I want to ping out my own sidekick because he brought Magic Missile. So he draws the Doctor Strange, rolls everything up, and actually lands the Doctor Strange. Right there. So he's going to field Doctor Strange and a sidekick, paying the shield to field Doctor Strange. Leaves him with 3 energy. 1 thing he can Professor X Global with, but he's actually going to choose to spend 2 on Apime Particles, which is a great card from the new set. Gives a die, I think it's +1 in Overcrush whenever you use it. So I ping out my own sidekick, which is nice, and I think about pinging out his sidekick, but I'd rather not give him the ramp. So I go ahead and PXG 2 more times, and he goes back to him, and he passes. He doesn't want to attack with anything. So that clears. I reload. I had 3 in the bag. I had 2 characters and a sidekick. So I'm going to redraw, and I end up drawing a big entrance. Now this is the Black Widow that has the Aftershock effect, which I'm reminding him at this point I cannot trigger on my own. He has to actually cause the damage that kills or KOs Black Widow. I don't land either character, which is pretty poor rolling. So I reroll a bunch of other stuff. I keep 2 masks and a shield because I want to see if I can buy Nick Fury this turn. I would have really liked to have had a character there, but I end up with a ton of energy to buy stuff with. Now here I probably should have bought a Wolverine just to get that combo set up and ready to go. I end up buying a patch instead, which is pretty good because I have 2 characters that are both Avengers anyway. So if I can swing in with those 2 characters and somehow make them unblockable or unblocked, he doesn't block them, then that's going to deal double damage. So it's a fairly good decision. I, of course, choose not to attack with my sidekick. I then show him the Nick Fury because he was asking about which Nick Fury that was. So here we get witness to the first instance of an action die being used to hit me for 4 damage because of Magic Missiles 2 and because of the ability from Doctor Strange. So he hits me for 4. I go ahead and PXG 3 times. Move over 4 dice total. Draw 4 more, and we keep going. So here's where I really need some characters, and preferably some characters not on their level 1 face. Black Widow on her level 1 face, and
Ant-Man on his level 1 face would be pretty bad because the doubling damage effect really only raises it by very few. That's an exponential effect. The higher their level, the more exponentially, I guess, greater the damage possibility grows. So I really would like them to be on a higher level. And the fact that he brought polymorph is great because if I can land something else on, like Nick Fury, on a higher level, then I can polymorph him down with the global and polymorph the other one up. Sadly, I end up landing both of those on their level 1 faces, so that's not a possibility right now. I pay 4 for a Wolverine, continuing to try to get to that 1-turn kill combo. I go ahead and end my turn with 3 in the reserve pool. So he will be rolling 6 dice this turn, one of them being a Pime Particles. He ends up bolting out a character, and he's going to pay 2 because of the reduced price for his own Wolverine Weapon 10, which is another reason why this team he's running is very scary, because that Wolverine Weapon 10, combined with Doctor Strange, can be really devastating. So he tries to PXG dice that he paid earlier, and he can't. He has to wait until my turn to do so. So I go ahead and PXG, move over 5 dice. I've had really good ramp this game, which has allowed me to kind of cycle my bag pretty well. This is my first time playing this team, though, so I haven't gotten it to where I will never have to use the bag. And just based on the fact that the combo is as it is, needing all the moving parts, that might be pretty troublesome in general, just to try and get rid of the bag completely and have everything cycling constantly. Nevertheless, it didn't happen this time. So I end up with 2 sidekicks, 2 possible masks, one's a question mark, a bolt, and a shield. I have a generic 2, and I have, I believe it's a level 1 Ant-Man. End up landing the Wolverine. I go ahead and pay the generic to field Wolverine. I field the Ant-Man for free and a sidekick. And right about here is where I should probably think about attacking. I've got numbers advantage. I end up choosing to bolt my sidekick out and pay extra to buy a Silver Sable, trying to get closer to that 1-turn kill. But I should have pressed the issue because he is about as set up as he's going to be for a while now. The only other character die he's bought is Wolverine, so I could take advantage of that, but I choose not to, and I just stay. So he fields 2 sidekicks. He's got 4 damage there that he's going to deal to me. He's going to go ahead and Red Dragon Global me as well, so that's 5 total damage that he can deal to me this turn. He hits me there for 4. He keeps 2 sidekicks there, so that, or excuse me, not 2 sidekicks, 2 masks there. I PXG, trying to maintain as small of a bag presence as possible.
Well, sadly, it hasn't come out yet.
So here we have another big entrance
Looks like it's another two-fist character. Didn't come out as a character. Got a bunch of good energy. Not really needing the shields anymore. Trying to figure out what I should re-roll.
I rolled really bad on
So there we go. I get rid of those shields. Decide I add that to the re-roll.
rolled really bad on some of my things here. My characters.
I rolled pretty bad on a lot of my.
And at this point, I'm starting to realize I can't spin up any of my characters because all of them are level 1, which is a real hindrance. I'm going to throw out a big entrance. Using that, I'm going to spend a couple of energy here. Thinking about what I want to buy. I have a ton of stuff that I can use for PXG, but I need to buy something in order to cycle as many dice as possible. So I end up buying with big entrance. I end up buying another Ant-Man. I spend Magic Missile. I deal 2 damage to my opponent. Then I have a bunch of energy left over. Pass priority so that he can PXG. And from there,
Red Dragon Global.
I'm going to Red Dragon Global. Spend a fist to buy one of my infiltrates, which is a really late buy when setting up the combo. At that point, I end my turn. He draws 2 Pine Particles and his Wolverine Formula Weapon 10, and I believe he rolls both of them. At which point he's trying to calculate to see if he has lethal. I'm going to reroll one of those Pine Particles. I think he gets it now. Fields his Wolverine Formula Weapon 10. Paying the 2, the bolt, and the shield to do so. That leaves him with 2 masks to PXG with. He's going to pay both of those. That deals 4 to me. And so now he passes priority to me, and I spend 3 question marks to deal 3 bolts to his Wolverine. 3 bolts of lightning damage from Magic Missile, which KOs his Wolverine, saving me from a possible death by Wolverine. That would have given him Overcrush and +2 attack. He would have been the only one attacking, which would have given him +4 attack, which would have been extremely dangerous. So it's a good thing I saved 3 question marks there. That fist is going to end up burning after I PXG, and I kill my ramp, but I stay alive. 3 in the bag. So this is my chance to get the combo. If I roll Infiltrate, then I have a combo and I have a win, essentially. If I don't, then attacking with Wolverine Formula Weapon 10 would be a bad idea because it wouldn't kill him, and it would leave me with 1 less blocker. Not a terrible idea, and I end up not landing Infiltrate, so I have to quickly scramble and figure out something else to do. Put another blocker out on the field, and at this point I'm starting to run out of time. A few more action plays, and I'm going to be dead. So buying things isn't really on my mind. I wish I would have gotten to roll, or thought of rolling that bolt again. So I have 4 energy here. I could buy something else. I could Red Dragon Global and buy something. I decided to ping out 2 of his sidekicks. Pass priority to him for him to PXG. He's thinking about bolting out any of my characters, or my sidekick, which it looks like he's going to do. Let's see if he does it. He goes ahead and does it. He pings out my sidekick. Not sure if that's a good play or a bad play. I'd like to think it's not the greatest play because you could save that and ramp even harder. Lowering your bag count, it would have killed me quicker if he would have kept that question mark and used it as a mask. He ends up drawing an action die, though. The question is he going to roll and land it?
So he misses on the Wolverine, but he lands on the magic missile, so I know I'm going to take another 4. So he's got a fist, 3 masks, essentially, and a bolt. So he's got some serious thinking to do on how he wants to play this out. He's clearly going to pay that and deal me 4 damage.
I'll do 4 to you.
So he pays the bolt and deals 4 to me, dropping me down to 2. At which point he Red Dragon Globals once and buys a Mjolnir. The interesting thing is he could have Red Dragon Global twice there and straight killed me. So he missed lethal, thankfully for me. Gives me 1 more turn to act. But I don't have infiltrate, which means I won't end up landing the combo. So I'm going to have to find some other way to get to lethal. So I end up with 4 fists, 2 masks. Nothing that's going to get me quite there. Reroll everything but the masks, or the mask and the question mark, I should say. Miss the character. Gives me 4 masks, which aren't going to help me because the moment I pass my turn to him, he's going to be able to Red Dragon Global and kill me. So my only hope is to swing out with everything that I have and hope that he blocks in a way that is beneficial to me. For example, if he blocks everything but the Wolverine, then I kill him, essentially, because he does a double damage. I ping out both of his sidekicks with the question marks that I changed to bolts. And I go ahead and push the swing all in. But before I do, I have to pass to PXG, and he KOs with a bolt my Black Widow, so I KO another of his sidekicks. So he's left with 2 characters to block, 4 characters that I'm attacking with, 2 of which are Avengers. He's going to think about how he wants to block, and he's going to block the Wolverine and one of the Avengers. Both Avengers, both of the Ant-Men are on their 1 attack sides, so really they're only going to double to 2. At which point he blocks in a way that doesn't kill him. I try to do a little bit of trickery just to get some more damage in. I spin down my Wolverine to spin up my Ant-Man, which deals him 4.
So that'll do you 4. This will do you 1.
And then he takes 1 from the
And these will KO.
Nick Fury.
And
The other 2 KO. And at that point, my turn has to end, and all he has to do is buy 1 thing with Red Dragon Global. So I go ahead and say good game. So that's the end of game 1. I am 0-1 in the tournament so far. I got close to landing the combo, but I couldn't roll infiltrate to finish the combo. And it was that plus a couple of bad plays on my part that led to me opening up enough of an opening for my opponent to take advantage of it and take the first game. If you have any questions or comments about anything I might have missed, or any tips, ways to play this combo a little bit better, go ahead and leave them in the comments section of the video. Thanks for watching.